Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a watch that launched as a concept, the R&D number 2, back in 2019, and that year, the R&D number 2 won the GPHG Aiguille d'Or as the best watch of the year at the Oscars of watchmaking. Now, a production model as of 2020, we have the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Self-Winding Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin. This is the 26586IP in a combination of grade 5 titanium and extra white platinum 950. Now the timepiece is ultra thin. It is a perpetual calendar, but it is no longer a concept watch. It's available in very limited production. It's 41 millimeters in diameter, and its breakthrough compared to the standard Royal Oak Perpetual is its thickness, which is only 6.3 millimeters thick, thanks to a movement that is now only 2.89 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, if we're just talking the case, the watch measures 50.3 millimeters, and if we're measuring end link to end link, that is, we're taking these little platinum intermediate links, the plots as they're called, the total distance across the wrist is 53 millimeters. So while the watch is flat, it is also broad, and it's probably for the best to think of it as a 43 millimeter round watch in terms of how it wears. It is super slim. It's almost 2 millimeters thinner than a Royal Oak Jumbo, which is saying something considering it's a modular complication. Now you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, I'm not at the limit here, but I do think that the lower limit to wear this watch is probably going to be a 15 centimeter circumference wrist. It is an easy watch to wear as a dress timepiece because it will slide underneath any cuff whatsoever. Taking a quick look, you can see that what's polished here is platinum. What's satinated is grade 5 titanium. Grade 5 tie is good stuff. It's lighter than steel and more scratch resistant. Platinum here is used on the bezel, which you can see is polished in its entirety, as well as these intermediate links, which you can see are polished. They're polished on their tops, and they're polished on their faces, which are difficult to see unless you're rolling the bracelet, so the degree of attention to detail here is superb. The flanks of the links are vertically satinated, and they have a little bevel that continues unbroken from the shoulder of the lug all the way down. It is a tapered bracelet, and the tolerances from link to link are actually so fine that I cannot feel the step down, even though I can see the sweep of the taper. Removable links are fixed by screws. It takes about 9 to 11 hours to finish the bracelet on a conventional Royal Oak. Add platinum to the equation, and I think you can add entire hours to that time. And that is one of the things you pay for when you buy a Royal Oak, any Royal Oak. It's the hand finishing. We have a double deployant clasp that is twin trigger actuated. You can see internally it is satinated and media blasted, and it is quite robust, though this isn't strictly speaking a sports watch with only 20 meters of water resistance. We have a crown. It is a push-down crown, hexagonal, like the bolts in the bezel, AP. And you can see that it features, we get really close here, some impressive detailing as the outer face of the crown around the AP logo is media blasted, and then the sides are satinated. Fantastic attention to detail here. You could see that the bezel has a small vertical lip and then a rounded slope, and then the top is all of high polish. It's a rounded octagon, as first penned by Royal Oak inventor Gerald Genta in 1972. The bezel was inspired by a vintage diving helmet. Now, because the bolts, the hexagonal bolts, remember, in the Royal Oak bezel, the standard Royal Oak bezel, are always gold or white gold. Here you can see the contrast between white gold and platinum. The platinum bezel is absolutely white, whereas you could see that the bolts themselves have a little bit of a warmer yellowish tinge, because that's the difference between white gold and platinum. Now the dial of this watch changes quite a bit. Pieces are relocated and you lose the weekly calendar from the standard 26574, but that's fine because sometimes we speak of addition by subtraction. This watch gives you more with less. A much thinner movement, 32 millimeters in diameter, 2.89 millimeters thick. Remember, the base movement for this watch is about 2.4 millimeters thick, so that's giving you an idea of just how thin the module is. We don't have a tapisserie of any size here. This is not a hobnail dial. It's a blue metallic that's vertically satin grained with white gold hands and indices. It's not a sports watch, but you can think of it as a sporty dress watch because it does have a decent amount of lume. It's a perpetual calendar, of course, and it features a photorealistic moon phase, so you don't have to touch this calendar until the year 2100. It can deal with irregular length months. It can deal with with leap years. You can see you have a day-night indicator underneath the day of the week, and then you have a leap year indicator underneath the month. Note that everything, numerals, days, and months are radially arrayed, and we have the moon phase up at 12 o'clock here. Turn it all over. You can see it is a very, very special watch. It's powered by the same JLC 920 base that the Jumbo used for generations. It is a beautiful hand-finished movement, the likes of which we see less and less of at Audemars Piguet today. It's handsomely finished with beveling that's truly manual, something you will not find even on high complications from many other AP model lines. It's a unidirectional automatic winder with a 40-hour power reserve, a 19,800 vibration per hour beat rate. It pivots on 37 jewels, and you can see it has a free sprung Gyromax style balance for precise adjustment. These are extensively handmade, and you can see some of the hallmarks of the hand craftsmanship. Take a look at the rotor. You can see the AP is polished. There are many, many sharp interior angles where bevels meet. Satination across the rotor top, and then beveling on its edge. We have Côte de Genève across the bridges, black polished screws with chamfered slots in circumference. We have solarization on the ratchet wheel as well as the crown wheel, and satination on most of the other wheels. And then we have a beryllium ring that runs all the way around the movement. So the rotor gives you mass on one side, but the ring goes all the way around. It pivots on 4 ruby jewelers as designed by JLC for Patek, Vacheron, and AP. The idea was to make a super thin movement without any danger of the rotor or the ring hitting the bridges of the plates. That's how the watch is able to get as thin as it is. That's how this movement has been able to get as thin as it has been since 1967, when JLC first debuted it for the Holy Trinity. This movement, in all its forms, has only ever been used by the Holy Trinity. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.